Hello friends! So recently I was gifted a book full of interesting art. It was a pretty hefty tome, full of images. For example, on one page of the book you have an image of an elephant with a monkey sitting on it. In another image you have a couple encased in a mussel shell. And in another you have a picture of an instrument which apparently is called a hurdy-gurdy, with a couple naked figures on top of it. And then finally, in another you have, well, I don't really know what's going on there. Anyway, the book was over 100 pages, each containing one of these elaborate drawings. Now, each of these drawings could have been a painting unto itself, but as it turns out, the drawings were simply details of a single large painting. The Garden of Earthly Delights, a masterpiece by the late 15th century Dutch painter Hieronymous Bosch. And in compiling this book that I was reading, it seemed that the authors had basically cut out hundreds of individual scenes from this very detailed large painting, and instead made hundreds of new mini paintings. Wow, very cool. Not only did that seem reasonable from an artistic perspective, but from an etymological perspective, it also made sense. Sorry for the long intro, let's cut to the chase. As I recently learned, the word detail is all about cutting, or should I say, uncutting. It's descended from the old French verb tailler and the prefix de, which together meant to cut off. And that word, tailler, is also the ancestor of the word tailor, which makes sense. When you remember that, a tailor is definitely someone who traditionally did a lot of cutting. If you go back even further, to Latin, then you get talerz, a noun which denoted basically a stick, or an item cut from a plant, which, through the old French noun tailloir, is the ancestor of the modern German noun talerz, and Polish noun talerz, which both mean plate. For those of you familiar with those languages, a tailloir literally meant a cutter, or a plate or board upon which food is cut before it is served. So that helps explain how its German and Polish descendants got their names. Oh, and interestingly, our English word retail, which is all about selling in small quantities, or little slices of one product, also shares the same origin story. Oh, okay, so that explains the tail in detail and retail, but now is our modern word tail at all related to those two words? Well, apparently there is a legal term, tail, used in real estate law, which does share the same etymology, so it's complicated. But to cut a long origin story short, the word tail, denoting an appendage on many animals, is completely unrelated to detail, and retail, and entail, for that matter, and instead has a Germanic root. So there you go, all the details on the history of an interesting word. And so they say the devil is in the details, which in the case of Bosch's painting is definitely true. If you stop focusing on the big picture, or the three big pictures depicting from left to right the Garden of Eden, the Garden of Earthly Delights, and the Hell, and instead cut those up, so to speak, into dozens of individual segments, and focus on those instead, indeed, you might just find him. Thanks for watching.